This Fleet Equipment Unscripted interview is presented by Hendrickson, a leading manufacturer of heavy-duty suspension systems and components to the global commercial transportation industry. Visit hendrickson-intl.com to learn more.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason Morgan, Content Director for Fleet Equipment, and welcome to Fleet Equipment Unscripted. Today we're talking with Dan Levy, Executive Director of Product at Bridgestone Advanced Tire Solutions. Dan, thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, excited to talk with you because we're talking digital tire management solutions, which is something that I've been tracking here for a while. And I want to say in the before times, which is really just like 3 years ago, but feels like several decades, tire management was really done on an Excel sheet, right? Fleets managing their tires. They'd have an Excel sheet. They'd do their maintenance and their pull times and their tread depths there. And so with the advent and coming of all these digital solutions, how has this evolved in the tire maintenance world to bring that process more into the digital world?
Yeah, and actually I feel like a lot of operations are still Excel-based, so not everybody has adopted all of the tools that I think they would get a lot of benefit from. I think that the space has really evolved at the pace of telematics in many ways, and so that's a 20-year-old industry of building fleet management solutions. Started as fairly simple GPS track and trace oriented solutions, evolved into being able to pull more and more information about the vehicles, plug into other capabilities around diagnostics and route optimization and otherwise. And fleets have really been able to get a lot of benefits from having an extended set of capabilities afforded by telematics. Within that has also included the ability to pull information about sensors that are installed on a vehicle. And so tire sensors is one of those areas where, it's fairly unpenetrated, especially in larger vehicles. Heavy duty commercial vehicles, there is no regulation that requires them to have TPMS sensors. Right. So by and large, they don't. And most fleets don't elect at the OEM level or otherwise to equip those vehicles with TPMS. What we have found is those fleets that do and have that information flowing through some kind of communication capability, be it telematics or a yard-based solution or otherwise, are able to get a lot of benefits around efficiency, productivity, and safety by having at their fingertips digital information about tire health. So I think telematics has really revolutionized the way that people access information about their vehicles and the way that they plan maintenance and keep their operations running.
Right, 100%. And even on that TPMS topic too, a lot of times the only person alerted to it was the driver in the cab, just that there's a problem, right? It's a little light or it's a notification, then they got to go hunt and figure out what the problem is. There wasn't a lot of fidelity to that info, right? Just to kind of back up for a moment then, what are we talking about in terms of Bridgestone there? Is this a sensor in the tire? Is it the TPMS sensor? What kind of data are you able to pull from your products?
Yeah, we're working a portfolio of solutions at Bridgestone within my group, within the advanced tire solutions area of Bridgestone Mobility. And that includes solutions for light duty commercial vehicles that are connected with telematics. And that's taking advantage of OE equipped TPMS that, every vehicle under 10,000 pounds must have. We're able to put more intelligence than just the light on the dashboard that you're referring to that help fleets understand whether they're underinflated, but also whether they're overinflated. We're able to detect whether there's a pressure leak that's happening within the vehicle and give early warning notices, not just to the driver, but to the fleet manager, the maintenance manager, the servicing dealer, whatever it might be. So that's part of our portfolio. On the other end, we are also working on new types of sensors that will be installed in the inner liner of the tires that have a really unique capability set. And I hope that you will see announcements of partnerships that we have related to our tire mounted sensors, over the course of next year, as we've got some exciting stuff working with OEMs and with some larger fleets. But what is in market today and what's, making an impact for Bridgestone fleet customers is our TPMS solution in teletire. And so this is focused on heavy duty vehicles, where again, no requirement for TPMS, so they're very seldom coming from the automotive OEM with any type of sensor solution. We provide a package of aftermarket sensors that screw onto the valve stem most typically, and then two different configurations of the product. A yard-based solution for largely domiciled fleets, where when the fleet is in the yard, the sensors are able to communicate with router equipment that's installed on the yard, sends back data to our analytics platform, our analytics platform provides information into a user experience that we've created that both the fleet accesses and their servicing dealer accesses. So the entity that's providing tire operations to that fleet gets information the same that the fleet gets, and they're able to deploy resources most effectively to keep those tires healthy, keep those vehicles running. The other configuration that we have is for fleets and vehicles that aren't in and out of the same yard location all of the time can benefit from having real-time access to tire health information. And in those cases, the same sensors communicate through the way the product is configured today. Geotab for connectivity services. We're able to pull that information live back into our platform and provide the same product experience, but on a more real-time basis, thanks to that Geotab connection.
Right. Okay, so these are sensors that you can install basically on any. Can you install it on any position that you have today? Are we talking drive, steer, trailer? Is it available for all of that?
Absolutely, all of those wheel positions, and typically, class 4 vehicles and above.
Okay. So, and in that world, right, it's great getting that information. It's great getting that visibility. In the heavy-duty commercial world, fleets have a lot of data and a lot of info coming at them. So how do you serve that up in an actionable way and point them to the information they need to know right now?
Yeah, so two answers to that question. One, I sort of alluded to already, which is we make that available to fleets in the same application that their servicing tire dealers use today. So if you're a Bridgestone fleet, your dealer is very likely using an application called Bridgestone Toolbox to manage your tire assets. And so when that dealer is doing yard inspections, when they're doing service calls, they're using Toolbox to log all of that activity. Our IntelliTire products experience is wrapped into the Toolbox application. Dealers use that to monitor tire health on behalf of their fleet. So that's one of the ways in which we render that in a really meaningful and useful way for our fleet customers. And by the way, a lot of fleets do their own maintenance, and they will use Toolbox for the same purpose that a dealer would if they're doing their own tire operations.
I see.
The other way that we found is most relevant is that fleet managers want one and only one landing spot for all things that relate to management of their vehicle application, of their fleet applications, their fleet assets. And so we are already using Geotab for connectivity purposes. And it was a natural landing spot for us then to say, hey, there's a big cross-section of Geotab customers who are also IntelliTire customers. Geotab is the market leader from a fleet management perspective. And we knew it would be a good user experience to make available IntelliTire as a component of the Geotab platform application experience. Right. So we recently launched an add-in which allows just that. A Geotab customer who is also a subscriber of IntelliTire can use the add-in to surface and access the IntelliTire experience without leaving the Geotab application. And so that's a nice experience for fleet managers who are, looking at all other aspects of that vehicle, including diagnostics and routing and otherwise, to also get the tire health experience in the same spot.
Yeah, integration is key for those fleets that are, like you said, already leveraging that platform. But I'm going to go back to something you said at the top of the conversation, is that there are probably still a lot of fleets using Excel sheets, or maybe even just writing it down and putting it in a file cabinet somewhere, right?
Yeah.
When, moving toward a digital solution can be intimidating a little bit. It's a lot going on. It's a lot of information. It's new, right? Which is tough for people. Change is always hard. So what advice would you have for fleet managers who definitely, keep a strong eye on their tire management, because it's a huge cost for the fleet? They need to move into that digital world. What advice would you give them to make that more approachable?
Yeah, I think about the three areas of benefit that I mentioned earlier: safety, productivity, and efficiency. And the types of solutions that we're building in IntelliTire TPMS solution helps fleets in all three of those aspects. So if you're using human beings to walk around a yard and do tire inspections every day, that's a lot of effort. Right. And so having a digital solution can automate an awful lot of those tasks so that you're getting information about the pressure of those tires without having human beings needing to go and stick each and every one every day. So that's a distinct productivity benefit. You can take those human beings and apply them into other areas of your fleet operations. Right. Also, I don't know, I think people probably underestimate the impact of running tires at appropriate pressure on things like safety and efficiency. Right. Tires that are overinflated or underinflated, they are not running optimally, and they will not provide the safety characteristics that a fleet would rely on in order to safely perform their operations. And additionally, tires that are underinflated are going to burn a lot more fuel. And tires that are overinflated are going to burn a lot more rubber and wear those tires much more quickly. So it's with digital tools to help enable and ensure that you're operating your tires at the optimal pressure levels, you're going to save an awful lot of money with respect to fuel and with respect to your tire program.
Right. I really like what you said about the automation point too, because I think all of our businesses, we're looking at automation, we're looking at other technologies that the conversation should be, not people replacement, but putting them in positions and in processes where they bring more value, right? The people walking around the yards at fleets, they have decades, right, and oftentimes of tire management experience. But to your point, maybe they don't need to walk around and do it. If they have visibility into it, then what else could you get them into, and what other value could they provide rather than walk in the yard every day, right?
Yeah, 100%. There's a big labor shortage, and tire technicians are hard to come by, and that's true of the servicing dealer community as well as the larger fleets that do their own tire operations and their own tire maintenance. So if you can avoid having tire technicians come and perform those manual checks, you can put them on some of the higher value activities of tire repair or otherwise that otherwise you're going to find scarcity with. So it's not about removing people from the equation, it's about having them do higher value activities.
Right. And one more thing too that I found really interesting, you mentioned the servicing dealer and the partnership they have with the fleet and how they're already using the data to help manage the tires. Is there anything that customers should expect in not only helping them manage the tires, but helping them be comfortable with the data, using the platform? Is that something that servicing dealers can offer? Or, oftentimes it's helpful just to be able to pick up the phone and have someone walk you through something.
Yeah, 100%. Well, the good news for Bridgestone customers is their servicing dealers are already using these applications. And so there's not a learning curve for them. They're able to, the type of information that they're used to plugging in manually is automatically being populated based off of the IntelliTire application. So it's an immediate improvement in their efficiencies. Is there a learning curve for fleets that are doing their own operations? Sure, they need to understand the application and use the tools. It's very intuitive. It's vehicle layouts. You can see the tire positions very clearly. The trucks are identified. The wheel positions are identified. It's an easy sort of red, yellow, green for severity of issue on any given tire. So it's a pretty intuitive application.
Right. Very cool. Well, Dan, I appreciate you walking me through the details. I learned a ton. Great to talk with you. I'm sure I'll talk to you again very soon.
Very good. Thanks so much.